Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for stopping by for a buyback video here on the channel today. We are going to rummage through this box that contains hand-selected buybacks of Topps baseball cards from over the years. Probably pull some nice stars, maybe a Hall of Famer or two. But before we get to that, I have two sponsors, I guess, for today's buyback rummage. These are recent eBay pickups. The first one is this Dick Groat from 1961 Topps, and the seller was even kind enough to ship this in a Pirates team color matching yellowed top loader, which is really cool. But got this recently. This was, I think, about $10 on a best offer. And the reason I wanted it for my buyback collection, of course, Dick Groat won the NL MVP the year prior to this in 1960. And on the back of this card, it actually references that MVP win. And along with that, he got card number 1 on the checklist in 1961 Topps, thanks to that 1960 NL MVP. So I thought that was a really great buyback to pick up for around $10. Can't beat that price. It's probably not going to make the Franken set because slot number 1 is pretty difficult. But as I've talked about a couple times now, I have some other buyback projects that I'll apply that one to. And then how about this early Topps card of Pedro Martinez? He obviously has a 91 Upper Deck rookie, but this is a 93 Topps Pedro from his early career with the Dodgers from the 2016 Topps 65th anniversary buyback program. So really awesome foil stamped Pedro there. This one has kind of some gunk on the top loader as well, so we're going to free Pedro. And he is in slot, or would be potentially in slot 557. So a much better shot at making the buyback Franken set. I would say probably a pretty good shot. It'd be hard to imagine somebody ousting Pedro in a random slot number like that. He was the best pitcher in the game at the turn of the century. And then how about from one Hall of Fame hurler to another? Check this out. This is a very early buyback here. 1958 early win. What an image, what a card, the yellow background. I mean, I don't even recall picking this up. I probably purchased this at least 6 or 7 years ago, maybe longer. But this is simply fantastic. Card number 100. And I think this will bump a 1990 Will Clark out of my buyback Franken set and allow me to move that 1990 Will Clark into my 1990 buyback set. So that makes this card even greater. I don't recall picking this up. I'm almost at a loss for words over how cool this one is, and definitely deserves to be put up in the background here. I know there are some, as I said at the outset of the video, some stars and Hall of Famers in this box. We have a second consecutive Hall of Famer at that. Dennis Eckersley on the 1978 release. Had that nice long flow even back then. Check out that mustache. Shout out to my buddy BK over at Mac Wax Stacks, who I know loves the mustache game, but a great early career Eck there. Definitely kind of miss him as a color commentator for the Red Sox. Did a great job on their TV broadcasts over the years. And we've got a Hall of Fame run going here. 3 cards in with an 84 Raleigh Fingers. Now this card is special for a couple of reasons. 65th anniversary buyback of the 84 issue, which is great. However, instead of a Topps release, this is the O-Pee-Chee version. I mean, that is something that you do not see every day. A few of these, I think, mistakenly made their way into the machine or the program that was doing these stampings, and maybe the individuals just missed them or retired from looking at hundreds, stacks of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cards and somehow didn't catch these. But this is one of the few, just a handful, small handful of O-Pee-Chee buybacks that I have in my collection from the Topps buyback program. And the fact that it's a Hall of Famer and the second straight card with a great mustache game, that is killer. 3 cards in, this is already probably one of the best buyback rummages that I've ever done for the channel. So Hall of Famers abound here. This next one is cool, not because of the subject, but because of the set. So this is a 1957 Topps card originally. bought back, stamped, and reissued for the 2015 Topps original buyback program. So this would have been pulled from a pack of 2015 Topps, either flagship or update. I don't know too much about Don Lee, I'll confess, but this is the earliest that you could find a stamped, foil stamped pack issued Topps buyback. Obviously, 1956 and prior, the cards were a size other than the size of present day cards. So those 57s are really tough to find. And we keep it rolling here with a 1979 Tony Perez. Look at that Expos batting helmet. Great jacket there. Wildly off-center, but again, you cannot be picky when it comes to these cards. And this one is from the 2017 Rediscover Topps program. This is the bronze foil, which was the most common version of the foil for that year's buyback program, but not very common to find somebody of the caliber of Tony Perez. So it's a little bit deceiving, as we see star after star getting pulled out of this box. You may think they're a little bit easier to come by than they are, but it's actually exceedingly difficult to find the Hall of Famers and bigger name players in these buybacks. So here's somebody who's not enshrined, but great personality from baseball past nonetheless. I certainly remember him as a color commentator growing up, or a play-by-play guy. Tim McCarver for the St. Louis Cards. Longtime catcher of numerous greats in the game, and somebody who just had a lot of insight to broadcasts that I enjoyed over the years. And of course, a wonderful Topps Heritage box topper buyback. This would have been in 2018 Topps Heritage as an individually wrapped card, sitting right on top of a hobby box once cracked open. So really nice one. I love the photo here, that kind of post swing showing off the pythons. Just a great shot there of McCarver, of a young McCarver. I'll move to the right portion of the box. And here's another personality that I know many folks enjoy. I certainly do as well. Of course, infamous for his supposed LSD-infused no-hitter earlier in the decade. This is a 1974 Topps Doc Ellis, part of the 2014 Topps buyback program, where they used that vintage Topps logo with the 75 embedded inside the T there. Love Doc Ellis, just the legend and the kind of the mystique behind that game. Enjoy collecting the man, and this was available really cheap. Actually have his rookie card from 1969 Topps in buyback format, and that resides in the buyback Frankenset binder. I've never seen another one of those over the years, but I love Doc Ellis. Here's a great leaders card here. Active career stolen base leaders from 1983, or actually was this 84 Topps? Yeah, this would have been 84 Topps. So these probably would have been the active career stolen base leaders after the 83 season. But we have Cesar Cedeno with 516 stolen bases in the middle. Below him on the list, quite a ways below him, Larry Boa with 303 stolen bases. And then the leader at the time, the helmetless Joe Morgan with 681 career stolen bases. Obviously, Rickey Henderson would obliterate these numbers, although he was in the American League for the majority of his career, so I guess he wouldn't obliterate these numbers precisely, but not three people that I would think of when it comes to career stolen base leaders, so kind of cool to see that one come out of the box. And of course, Joe Morgan, maybe the greatest second baseman of all time. Next up, how about a Colts 45 card? Shout out to my buddy Dan over at Old Sarge Collects, who I know loves the Colt 45s, as well as the Astros. I love them, being a franchise name that is no longer used. Love the 45s right on the cap here. This is a 1963 Bob Bruce initially. Then it was bought back, stamped, and issued as a Heritage box topper. Would have been in 2012 Topps Heritage. Somebody pulled this from a hobby box a dozen years ago now. And this was a cheap pickup, like $1, but those forgotten teams of yesteryear are hard for me to resist. Let's go to the other side of the box. And how about back-to-back 1963 Colt 45s? What are the odds of that? Russ Kemmerer. So two pitchers also. So we've got the beginnings of a Colt 45s rotation here in a buyback format. I love seeing these side by side. We'll see if either or both make the Franken set at numbers 24 and 338 respectively. So a couple of cool Colts, buybacks there. And then here's a cool one, Steve Hargan, 1969 Topps. This is a card that probably doesn't have much meaning to the average collector, but to me, this card holds a lot of memories because when I was a kid, we used to go out clothes shopping with my grandmother, my mom, my brothers and I towards the end of the summer, and my grandmother would buy us some clothes for the coming school year. And it was always, as like an 8 or 9 year old kid, like I didn't look forward to going clothes shopping every summer. It was kind of like a lost opportunity. But I think one year, maybe just to reward us or to help us behave in the car, I received on that trip this clear plastic cube that had it was a repack of maybe 100 Topps baseball cards from over the years. And of course, the majority of them were from the 1980s, overprinted. But this one vintage card from 1969 was on the outside edge of that cube when you would pick it up off the shelf. And even though I didn't know anything about Steve Hargan, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever because I didn't have any 1969 Topps cards, and I had very few cards that were this old, period. I love those baby blue eyes matching the clouds in the background there. Pretty cool. And so this got kind of emblazoned on my mind, this image. And to this day, I still don't really know much about Steve Hargan. I should really look him up. But I did chase down a buyback version of this just because of the nostalgia. When I look at this card, it transports me to the backseat of my mom's, Chevy Astro van, circa 1991, driving around Rhode Island, picking out clothes for the coming school year. So there you go, Steve Hargan. Let's see if we can pull another big name card here to close it out. First, we have a Pilots card, Diego Segui. I've talked about this before, and the same logic applies here as did the Colts 45 cards. Love the Seattle Pilots. They only exist in 2 years of Topps releases, of course, 1969 and 1970. And so any of them that I can find in buyback format that are not breaking the bank, those are no-brainers. And that was the case for that Diego Segui. And then we'll close out with this one today, a 1969 NL Strikeout Leaders card from 1970 Topps, which features 2 Hall of Famers prominently, Fergie Jenkins and Bob Gibson, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Bill Singer came in 3rd place for strikeouts in the NL. If we take a look at the back, there's the complete list for you. And yeah, I mean, you can't beat multiple Hall of Famers on one leaders card. I've mentioned it before, but I have a newfound respect for Fergie Jenkins in particular after listening to the chapter on him in my audiobook, The Baseball 100 by Joe Posnanski. Really like Fergie Jenkins, and happy to see this one spill out of the box. It'll make a strong push for number 71 in the buyback Franken set. And that's going to conclude today's rummage. We saw a lot of great vintage, stretching all the way back to the 1950s even, and even Hall of Famers from the 50s. And then we really had a unique one here with an O-Pee-Chee Topps buyback. A little mistake by the folks at Topps on that Raleigh Fingers. So fun rummage today. Hope you enjoyed this half as much as I did. It's always great to rummage through these cards. Really enjoy this unique aspect of the hobby and this unique portion of my collection. Certainly appreciate you tuning in. And as you know, I'll be back very soon with some more content here on the hobby. Till then, take care.